We are anonymous. No faces, no flags, no permission slips. We are here for the receipts, for the patterns, for the part they always hope you'll miss when the people who scream transparency the loudest suddenly start whispering, when the spotlight swings their way. And right now the spotlight is scorching, because Donald Trump and his MAGA wing are doing something so obvious, so panicky, so on the nose, it practically comes with an air horn. They're blocking Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton from giving public testimony about Jeffrey Epstein. Not testimony, not under oath, not in front of the country, not cameras on, no closed doors, controlled conditions, and a nice, neat little gatekeeping plan where MAGA decides what the public gets to see and when. Let's set the table. The House Oversight Committee, chaired by Republican James Comer, has been running an Epstein-related investigation and issued subpoenas for Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. After a standoff and contempt threats, both Clintons agreed to appear for filmed, transcribed depositions scheduled for late February 2026 under the committee's terms. That much is real, publicly acknowledged and reported broadly. Now here's where it gets gross. The whole MAGA sales pitch has been Epstein is a Clinton story. They've tried to frame the entire Epstein scandal like it's basically Hillary's inbox all over again, just swap out emails for files and hope everyone forgets who else shows up in those records. And the same crowd has been out. They're insisting the Epstein files have nothing to do with Donald Trump, like repeating it makes it true. Except the public releases haven't been kind to that fantasy. In late January 2026, the Justice Department published a massive tranche, over 3 million pages, under the Epstein Files Transparency Act, which DOJ itself says was signed into law by President Trump on November 19, 2025. And within days, controversy exploded over redactions, victim privacy failures, missing material, and what exactly was withheld. Some outlets reported the DOJ even temporarily removed thousands of Epstein-related documents after concerns that victims' identifying information had been exposed. And then came the part MAGA really didn't want trending, reporting that Trump's name and related terms appear a lot in the newly released files. Some coverage, citing a New York Times review, described more than 5,300 documents, with over 38,000 references to Trump, his family Mar-a-Lago, or related phrases. Now, pause mentions are not convictions, and a name appearing in a document dump doesn't automatically mean criminal conduct. Even serious reporting has emphasized that many references can be routine, news clips, emails, contacts, flight logs, without proving wrongdoing by themselves. But politically, optically, the sheer volume is a nightmare for a movement that built its brand on shouting Epstein like it was a one-party problem. So what happens when the narrative starts boomeranging? You get Trump trying to pretend he's suddenly protective of Bill Clinton. Yes, really, in an interview that ricocheted across coverage, Trump complained it bothers him that somebody is going after Bill Clinton. And when he's asked who that somebody is, the answer is sitting right there. It's his party, his committee chairman, his MAGA machine turning Epstein into a political prop. Trump even described liking Bill Clinton and complimented Hillary Clinton as capable and smart, spinning a sob story about how he has been investigated many, many times and claims they found nothing on him. In other words, classic Trump turn every question into a mirror, every controversy into a pity party, every scandal into they're so mean to me. And then MAGA's media ecosystem starts running interference. In the original commentary you provided, James Comer goes on Fox State Regime Energy, as the speaker calls it, and tells Sean Hannity basically, Hillary wants a committee hearing, but Comer says no. He says she's moved the goalpost, that she agreed to a standard deposition, that it'll be videoed with audio and transcript, and that everyone in America will have access eventually, because he claims he releases videos and transcripts of depositions. Then he tries the oldest trick in Washington. He claims hearings are for entertainment, depositions are for substance, and he wraps it all in a sanctimonious bow. This is about justice for the victims. That's the performance. Scold people for wanting public accountability, while insisting secrecy is somehow more serious. But the Clintons, at least in the version of events you gave me, called the bluff. Bill Clinton. Ask me anything, I'm happy to speak. Hillary Clinton. I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to know, but you want questions. Let's do it in public cameras on, the whole world watching. And she puts it in writing, accusing Comer of turning accountability into distraction, saying, stop the games. You love talking transparency. There's nothing more transparent than a public hearing. Now here's the key moment. The MAGA plot backfired because the people they tried to corner didn't hide. They said, fine, let's do it where everyone can see. And that is exactly what Trump and MAGA cannot tolerate, because once you normalize public testimony, the next question writes itself. If Bill and Hillary have to answer under oath, why doesn't Trump? Even Mike Johnson, MAGA Mike, in the script gets chased down in the Capitol, holds by reporters like Manu Raju, and he tries to wriggle out of it. In your original, he says Trump answers press questions every day, and the reporter claps back, not under oath. Not under oath. And that's the whole game right there. Press gaggles are not sworn testimony. Sound bites are not depositions. Spin is not accountability. And then the panic gets louder, because when the idea spreads, okay, bring Trump in too, Trump immediately pivots into victimhood. They already brought me. They indicted me many times. I'm very innocent. They found nothing. I gave my taxes. The best accounting firms found nothing. It's the same script, just a new stage. Meanwhile, you've got Trump's mouthpieces smoothing the path. His press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, named in your source, echoes the respect line about Bill Clinton, trying to frame Trump as magnanimous, while his own party's committee weaponizes subpoenas. And on CNN, operatives like Scott Jennings go full nostalgia bait. We've got all of Clinton's voters now, Union Democrats in Middle America, good old boy working guys from West Kentucky. They were Clinton people, now they love Trump. That isn't analysis, it's propaganda perfume sprayed over a dumpster fire. The point is to blur accountability into tribal sports. Our coalition now, your coalition then. Anything to keep viewers from staring at the paper trail. Let's talk about the paper trail carefully, honestly. A lot of things get said about Epstein files. Some are substantiated, some are speculation, some are propaganda, some are legitimately horrifying. There are also real, documented failures in how government institutions handled Epstein for years, and that's part of what Congress claims to be investigating. But there is also a reason the DOJ has emphasized redactions and warned about the messy nature of huge dumps, because not everything in a tip sheet or an email thread is verified truth. That said, it is not crazy that the public is asking who appears in the records and what those connections were. Public broadcasting coverage has confirmed that new DOJ releases included multiple mentions of Trump, while noting they didn't necessarily add major new revelations on their own. Other reporting has discussed flight log references and documents that list Trump on Epstein's plane manifests in the 1990s, while also emphasizing that such entries don't automatically establish illegal conduct. And if you zoom out, the political dynamic becomes obvious. Trump wants the Epstein story to be a one-way weapon. He wants it pointed at enemies, never at himself. So when the Clintons say fine public hearing, MAGA suddenly discovers a love of closed doors. That's why this block the public testimony move matters. A closed-door deposition gives MAGA control over pacing, framing, selective leaking, and timing. We'll release it when we want. Is not transparency. It's content moderation for politicians. It's how you turn oversight into a reality show where the producers edit the episode. And the hypocrisy is nuclear. James Comer goes on Fox and tells viewers Republicans want transparency more than Democrats, and that they'll provide oversight, and that the administration wants to be transparent. That's the pitch. And then the moment someone says, okay, camera's on, the answer becomes no, not like that. In your original script, there's also an even darker claim floating around, people reading these files and arguing Epstein was running a compromat operation tied to Vladimir Putin. That is not something I'm going to present as established fact here without ironclad evidence. What I can say is that the Epstein story has repeatedly intersected with broader questions about power leverage, secrecy, and who gets protected when institutions fail. And we're watching those instincts play out again right now in real time, in Congress and in the DOJ fights over what gets released and what stays hidden. And let's not skip the moral insult buried in the MAGA posture. If you actually care about survivors, you don't treat this like a partisan toy. You don't leak identities. You don't name-drop victims to launder a political smear. You don't pretend secrecy is for the victims while you use their trauma as a shield for your own agenda. Even recent reporting about the DOJ releases has highlighted how victim privacy was mishandled, names exposed, sensitive images included, forcing corrections after the fact. That's what happens when institutions chase headlines and politics instead of protection and justice. Now bring it back to the headline truth. Trump panics and MAGA blocks public testimony. Because the Clintons, whether you love them, hate them, or feel nothing did something politically inconvenient, they didn't run from the question. Will you testify? They said yes, and in your source, they demanded to do it publicly. And once that door opens, Trump's entire scam is at risk. Because if America starts expecting public, under-oath answers from powerful people in the Epstein matter, then Trump, the loudest lock them up, carnival barker in modern politics, has to face the same standard. and Trump cannot survive the standard he sells to his followers. So he pouts about how it bothers him that Bill Clinton is being scrutinized. He pretends it's a shame. He acts wounded. He brags about how investigated he's been. He tries to charm you with "I like Bill. I respect him. Hillary's smart." Like the problem is personal feelings, not public accountability. But the mask slips because the strategy is simple. Keep it quiet. Keep it controlled. Keep it edited. Keep it delayed. Keep the public out. Keep the cameras off. And above all, keep Trump from ever having to answer the same way everyone else is being forced to answer. So here's my message as anonymous. Don't let them sell you secrecy as seriousness. Don't let them sell you edited transparency as oversight. And don't let Donald Trump, of all people, pretend he's the victim in a story about power secrecy and exploitation. If you want real accountability, you demand the same thing for everyone. Public testimony under oath, with no political producers deciding what you're allowed to see. If this matters to you, don't just watch. Share this, subscribe, and keep pressure on every politician who thinks your right to know is optional. We are anonymous. We do not forgive, we do not forget, and we do not look away while the powerful hide behind closed doors.